Welcome to your total body strength workout for the luteal phase. At this time in the cycle, we shift into high hormone territory because we see both estrogen and progesterone on the rise. And with that, we see both some metabolic shifts and some changes in the way we perform during exercise. So first and foremost, we make a change toward carb sparing. So it's harder to access carbohydrates overall, but specifically during exercise. So your body will still use carbohydrates in this workout, but we're also tapping into some of those slower burning pathways, so our fat burning pathways. That is the preference for your body during this time in the cycle with estrogen on the rise because it promotes more of that carb sparing. It's saving the good stuff to build your uterine lining in the luteal phase. Then we have the effects of progesterone, which it's a great hormone. It is our ally. I don't want to dog on progesterone. However, it does promote a catabolic metabolism, which is that breakdown mode where your body more readily breaks down the fuel that you eat and tissues in the body to use for fuel. So if you are kind of trying to dip into your resource pool for exercise, but those resources have already been earmarked to build the endometrial lining, then we start to get this sort of scarce resource state where then we get those unfavorable metabolic conditions like muscle wasting because it's a quick source of those amino acids that your body needs during this phase in the cycle. And fat storage because your body's seeing, hey, we need more resources. We need a reliable fuel supply in fat. So those are two things that can happen with the rise in progesterone in the second half of the cycle. We also see that it takes us longer to cool down. You might feel like you get hotter before you start to sweat, and you might just feel a slightly lower energy. So you're not hitting that peak intensity, that peak performance that might have come pretty easily in the first half of the cycle. I want us not to see this as a tax. I don't want this to feel like a bummer. I want you to simply tune in and be able to then adapt your training to meet that physiology in the second half of the cycle. And that's what we're looking to do for today. We have 5 combination exercises, combination movements where we're using just a single dumbbell. So we're stripping away some of the complexity to get down to these fundamental patterns to target the whole body, improve your circulation, promote blood flow, to help alleviate some of the common symptoms in the luteal phase, and to allow you to feel more energized, to feel more awake, more alive, more joyful in this time in your cycle. So we're working a pyramid rep scheme here. We start with 12 reps in the first round, build to 16, and then come back down to 12. That helps keep us in the endurance training mode where we're completing 12 or more reps and we're working with lighter weights, hence just the single dumbbell. You want that weight to be challenging enough that you feel kind of the feedback from your body, but not so much that you move into strain or that it pushes you into a high intensity training mode. So that's where you're paying attention to your breath. Maybe you're kind of confirming with a heart rate monitor and moving a little bit more slowly. Maybe you're taking more time than what's found in the video just to keep that heart rate where it needs to be. This one, having a prescribed rep scheme, means that you will be going at your own pace, and it's okay if you're not following along step by step with the video. You can hit the pause button. Maybe you stick with me just for the first round and then complete the last 2 on your own so that you don't feel pressured to rush, or maybe you don't get bored waiting for me if I'm far behind. You can move in the way that suits you best. This one does have a movement tutorial because we are moving pretty continuous throughout, where I'll give you different variations of each exercise, ways to scale and progress, and different options depending on the weights that you have at home. You'll find your 5-minute warm-up at the beginning, your 5-minute cool down at the end. We have 20 minutes of solid work in the middle, so this is a 30-minute practice from start to finish. I encourage you to try and squeeze this one into even your busiest days to get that movement medicine, that hit of endorphins to help you feel better during this time in the cycle. So now let's get started. Let's jump right into our total body warm-up for your strength training session today. Start in the center of your workout space. Feet are about shoulder width apart. We're going to take a big inhale, reach the arms overhead, interlace your fingers, press your palms to the ceiling. We've got a squat here. Squat it down, keep that chest upright, lift up and side bend. So squat, press the palms to the sky and bend to the side. I want you to keep that chest elevated. Sit back into your chair. Let the knees track over the toes. Just start to feel the rhythm of your breath. Generate a little bit of heat. Squatting down and lifting up and out of the pelvis to your side bend. Next, we're going to keep those arms overhead. We're simply going to step back and draw the elbows into your sides for that lat pull down. So nice and easy here to start. It doesn't have to be super quick. It's dynamic. We're moving to get the blood pumping, to bring the heart rate up just a little bit, and also just to warm the body from the inside out. So you're reaching down, really engaging the lats here as you pull the elbows behind you. Last one. Come up, bring your hands behind your head, take your elbows nice and wide. Feet are still shoulder width apart. Let's twist to one side. Keep your hips facing forward. Really press your head into your hands. Free the upper back. Then come through center, big inhale. As you exhale, twist to the other side. So you can hear it in the rhythm of my breath. We're already starting to kind of take that heart rate up, start to make that climb. And release. Let's come to the back of the mat. Walk out, push up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, walk it out. You can keep the knees down to start if you like, or come up onto the toes. Reaching up, big inhale, and exhale, coming down. Push up and walk it back. Excellent job. Keep going. Let's get one more here. Push up and walk it back. This time, as you come down, I want you to lower into your tabletop. Let's inhale, soften the belly, stretch the spine, look up. And then as you exhale, start to round into cat, but hover the knees. Really press down and dome the upper back. Inhale, soften the belly, gaze up, shine the sitting bones back. Exhale, close that gap between hip points and low ribs. Round the spine, chin to chest, hover the knees. Last one, inhale. And exhale, round. Let those knees hover, really push down into the floor. From here, we're going to walk it out, unfold into your downward dog, just coming into a plank launch. So we roll it forward into plank, and then bend the knees, bring your hips towards your heels. Launch it forward, shoulders over the wrists. Big inhale and exhale. So I want you to feel that stretch in the shoulders, that strength in the legs, all the while activating, integrating that core center. Last one like this, launch it forward. And then we're going to take the right foot, step it forward, twist that right arm open. And then here, I want you to really feel the depth of that lunge, separation between your thigh bones. And then we start to circle the arm nice and big through that right shoulder. So you're getting that full range of motion. You might switch the direction, bring it forward. Feel the chest open as you come through the top. Last one like this. And then we'll turn to the long edge of your mat, come into a side lunge. Here, we're pressing the arms forward, coming up through center, stretch the chest, and push, and push. So we go side to side. I want you to feel the stretch in the chest, and then the contraction. So imagine you're pushing a wall or pushing some load away. Breathe out as you push. We've got 3, 2, and 1. Turning over the left leg now. Coming into that nice deep lunge, opening the left arm. Feel the strength in your lunge first, and then start to circle that arm up, out, and around. Breathing here. Make sure your hips are staying square to the front of your mat, square to the floor here. Just twisting that torso. So we're getting kind of that articulation of the rib cage separate from the pelvis. And then take both hands down, come into your bear plank once again. Knees are hovering. We're simply going to walk the feet out to plank, walk them back in. That's the first part. Then when we come out to plank, we'll open side plank to the other side, roll on the toes, side plank. Walk it in, bear plank. Walk it out, side plank. I want you to hug the shoulder blades together behind you. So you feel that activation in the back. Walk it in and out. Last one to each side. Then I want you to slowly walk your feet to your hands. Bring your hands to your knees, roll up nice and easy all the way to standing. Let's enjoy a huge breath in and a slow breath out. I don't know about you, but I'm already starting to feel that nice warmth happening from the inside out. And that means we are ready to move into your workout next. Let's jump into this total body strength workout for your luteal phase. Before we get started, if this is a new practice to you and you haven't checked it out yet, please tune into the movement tutorial. I'll break down all 5 of our exercises for today in detail and give you different things to look out for, different ways to scale and progress, and it'll help you choose your weights appropriately. For today, we are going a little bit lighter in the weights. We're only using a single dumbbell. I love these single dumbbell workouts because they just feel a little bit simplified, a little bit easier to take on during the luteal phase. I have 2 options available. I'm using a 20-pound dumbbell and a 15-pound dumbbell so that I can make changes in the moment as needed. So we have 5 different exercises. We're using a pyramid rep scheme starting with 12, building to 16 in the second round, and then dropping back down to 12. I want you to keep the pace pretty continuous throughout, but nice and slow and steady. So you're not blasting through these reps. You're wanting to focus on your form and control. I am going to set a stopwatch. We're tracking our time, trying to stay under 20 minutes for this working portion of today's session. That breaks down to about 6 minutes per round of work. So we've got those 5 exercises. I will get our stopwatch going, and our first round begins now. We'll grab our weight. First exercise is a back squat with a tricep extension. Wrap your elbows in. I want you to sit back into that chair, chest stays elevated, and press up. That's 1. As you press into that tricep extension, keep the arms hugging to the midline. They're in parallel tracks. You're not letting those elbows flare out. We're here for 12 reps. We're looking to move into the endurance training mode where we're 12 or more reps. We are in that higher rep range with a lighter weight, in this case, just a single dumbbell. That's 8. We've got 4 more. Knees track over toes. They stay in parallel lines. Last one. Excellent job. We can recover for a few breaths here just to get set up for the next exercise. The next one is a staggered stance wood chop to that front raise, so all the way overhead. So you're going to stagger the stance, step back, bring that weight to your back hip, and then step it together. That's 1. Switch sides. Come down, twist, and back together. This one, I want you to take nice and slow at first so that you can feel the recruitment in your low belly so that you're not putting any strain into the lower back. And that's halfway there, 6. So we're just switching sides. If it's too much to take the weight overhead, you can bring the weight to the chest and really focus on that twist, that power coming up to center. We got this. 2 more. Down and up. Slow and controlled. And that is our second exercise. Next one is going to be a reverse lunge with a press. You can add a little bit of elevation if you like, if you want to step back from a stair or just be on your mat. So we're stepping back with 1 foot and pressing overhead. And then we switch sides. It's a small step back, just enough to get those 90-degree bends in both knees. Elbows are staying close to the body. We're not arching the low back as we take that weight overhead. Staying nice and integrated all the way. Shoulders are relaxed, away from the ears. Last one. That's 12. Next exercise is our side lunge with a bicep curl. I'm going to set the weights down for a moment, take a little bit of a shake because I feel my heart rate going up. You can hear it in my voice, more of that kind of that labored speech. What we're looking for is something slightly lower than that. So we want to kind of approach that high intensity threshold and then back it off to stay right beneath it at 50 to 70%. Our next exercise, side lunge with a biceps curl. We come down, sit back, chest up, and squeeze the biceps out to the side. alternating one and then the other. Squeeze at the top. I want you to keep your elbows glued to the outer ribs. Try to avoid swinging that weight, especially if you're working with a lighter load today. I want you to keep it slow and controlled so you are driving that weight. It's not pulling you down or swinging you side to side. We've got one more here, 12 reps, and squeeze. Excellent job. Next one is our Romanian deadlift with a front raise. This one's going to recruit a lot of core strength. So we keep the weight close to the body. Spine moves as a unit. Down, you can go a little bit further with this weight. Come up and front raise just to shoulder height. As you come through that front raise, I really want you to pay attention to keeping the spine neutral. You're not leaning back or forward. Down and front raise. Back of the neck stays long, so you're in that mechanical hinge pattern where the spine is straight and strong. Then you're bracing the belly, keeping the shoulders relaxed as you come through that front raise. Once you get the pattern down, you can move a little bit more quickly, but I'd rather us focus on that slow, steady pace, prioritizing form throughout this practice. Coming up on the 5-minute mark here, that means we're in good shape. Moving to round 2 after this exercise. We've got 2 more. Back stays straight and strong. Last one. And front raise. Let's set that weight down, shake it out, take a bit longer recovery between sets before we start our second round where we're aiming for 16 reps. This one will naturally take a little bit longer. Let's grab that weight, come into position for your back squat, hug the elbows in. I want you to keep the chest nice and elevated. Let's begin. Take it down and press those arms straight. I want you to only come so far down in that squat as you can keep your chest elevated. So if it starts to dip forward, back off the range of motion just a touch until you can come back to that nice straight and strong spine. Breathe in as you come down and press it up. This is 8 reps. We're halfway there. Drive the weight through the heels. You got this. Let's get 5 more here. Be careful not to load the neck here. You're in the upper trapezius or the deltoids, depending on how long your dumbbell is. Last 2 and 1. Excellent job. Coming into our wood chop next. I'm just going to shake it out for a moment. And then we are creating that staggered step into the front raise or just bringing the weight to the chest. Here we go. Bring it back and up. That's 1. So you are sort of in that swinging motion with the weight, but I want it to be controlled. So you're not pulling on the low back, but you are engaged, powerful from the core center all the way up. It's that follow through from the twist all the way to overhead. This one might have a tendency to elevate your heart rate. So if you need to pause, you need to take a deep breath to kind of slow it down. That is totally okay. Let's get 6 more. Brace the belly here. Again, you have that option of bringing the weight just to the chest. 4 more. Stay strong. We are coming up on 8 minutes, right where we want to be. Last one. And overhead. Let's bring the weight to the chest now. Catch your breath. Reverse lunge to the overhead press. So we step it back. Nice, strong lunge and press. So this one, very shoulders and arm focused for the upper body. Want you to stay in the presence of the lower body. So really focusing on how you're loading so that you can get the most out of every rep. So it's driving through that front heel, sitting back into that front hip. And we've got 6 more. Here's 5, 4. Keep track of your own reps wherever you are. It can be faster or slower. No problem either way. Last 2. And last 1. You can set that weight down for a moment. Our next exercise is side lunge to that bicep curl. So you're hugging the elbows into your outer ribs. We're sitting back into the chair, keeping the chest elevated. Here we go. Step it out and squeeze the biceps. This is our 16 rep round, so it should feel a little bit more challenging. You're building that endurance stimulus so it accumulates from one round to the next. Here we go. I'm about halfway there for this exercise. Where are you? Stay strong. Find your breath. Take care not to let the heart rate get too high. And notice how your perception of your heart rate changes. So you might be in that 50 to 70% zone, but if it feels like you're pushing 80 or 90, I want you to slow it down. We've got 2 more. Squeeze. Last one. Excellent job. Next up is that Romanian deadlift to a front raise. We've got 16 reps. Let's grab your weight. Remember, the weight shifts forward into the ball mounds of the feet, but then you're anchoring through the heels. Here we go. Take it down. Come up. Front raise. Brace the belly. Down and up. I want you to feel the front and back body engaged, but not strained. So if you need to, you can make this more of a bicep curl if you wish, or you can drop down the weight if that front raise is creating any strain in the lower back. We got this. Breathe. We're closing out the second round here. Keep that back lengthening so crown of the head reaches away from the tail. Breathe in and front raise. You got this. You can always drop down and wait if you need to. As I mentioned, I always like to give that reminder and permission slip as often as possible because it's there for you always. It's an empowered choice that you make to keep this workout body informed. We've got 4 more reps for me. Count yours, keep track. Here's 3. Brace the belly. So I really want you to feel hip points lifting toward the low ribs. You're drawing the navel back into the spine. Last one. And lift it up. Excellent job. I'm going to set the weights down, shake it out. We've got a little bit more recovery here in between sets. We are at the 12.5-minute mark, so we have lots of time to finish this final round. So I want you to come in fully recovered. That means you're taking nice deep breaths here, maybe rotating the shoulders, the hips. We'll get about 20 more seconds of recovery, and then we'll start our third and final round. It's just a 12-rep round, so it should feel nice and sustainable throughout. Let's grab that weight, squat to tricep extension. That back squat starts in about 5 seconds. Stay with me wherever you are. If you're still working on round 2, that's great. Let's begin. If you're in round 3, here we go. Press. We've got 12 reps. This should feel nice and smooth. Not too strenuous, but there's still plenty of challenge think there's a little bit of a myth around the luteal phase that we kind of have to treat ourselves with kid gloves, when really we can find that deeper challenge. We can work hard in the luteal phase. We just have to change the approach. Endurance work is not easy, but it does trigger a different metabolic pathway. It does turn the intensity down just a touch. Last two. Last one. And you can set that weight down. So don't be afraid to challenge yourself. I want you to feel the difference between kind of challenging in the moment versus overriding and pushing past a warning signal from the body. So we start to tune into those subtle differences to be able to support ourselves throughout the cycle. Let's come into our wood chop twist. So we stagger the stance. Let's step back, down, and up. You got it. That's 2. We're just here for 12. Brace the belly. So it's same idea as that front raise. I want side bodies engaged. Here we go. Find that power. Overhead or to the chest. Here's 11, last one, and 12. Excellent job. Set that weight down. I'm going to do a quick heart rate check. So I'm about 130, kind of right in the sweet spot, but it does feel a little bit more like 150 for me. So I'm going to take a few extra breaths, really let that breathing pattern come back into control. And then we'll come into our reverse lunge with a press. Grab that dumbbell, bring it to your chest, elbows hug in. Let's get our lunge now. We take it down, push up, down, find that big press. So you have a little bit of support from the legs to get that weight overhead. Drive through the front heel. So we've got this powerful movement each time, even if it's slow, can still tap into that quality of power. It's the grounded power, the grounded strength that comes from a place of deep stability, deep balance in the lower body. Got 2 more. Last one. Excellent job. Set that weight down for a moment if you wish. Coming into our side lunge next. We're in good shape. We have 4 minutes left just to finish out these last couple of exercises. Don't worry if you're a few reps or even a whole exercise behind me. Just keep working at that slow and steady pace. Coming into the side lunge next. So we start in the center of the mat. Weight is down in front. We'll step it out to one side. Chest stays lifted and squeeze the biceps. So that takes a little bit of extra intention to find that deep contraction in the biceps in this isolation exercise. We got this. Chest stays upright. Sit back into your chair. Make sure that as you step out, the working leg has that good alignment. So toes, ankles, knees all pointing in the same direction. Knees aren't splaying out or caving in. Got that strong alignment for the knee joint. We've got 2 more. Here we go. Out and in, squeeze. Out and in. Excellent job. Set your weight down, roll it out. You've got about 2.5 more minutes. So however you choose to finish this workout, even if you don't get through all 5 exercises, that's okay. I want you to stay in that slow and steady mode all the way till we hit that 20-minute timer. Let's get ready for Romanian deadlift next. Here we go. Hinge at the hips. Take it down and front raise. Brace the belly. Make sure your shoulders are staying relaxed as you come into that front raise. Try not to let them shrug, even if it feels a little bit challenging. I want you to find that strong alignment from start to finish. I'm going to slow these reps down just a little bit, get my heart rate under control. Back of the neck stays long. We got this. So try not to curve the spine. It stays neutral as you come all the way down and all the way up. I've got 4 more reps. How are you? Where are you in your rep count? We've got just over a minute left. Here's 3. Stay strong. Squeeze the ends of that dumbbell to help engage the biceps and the chest. Last one. Down and lift. So that closes it out for me. You've got about a minute left to finish wherever you are in your rep count. And then I want you to move around in a dynamic way. Maybe you're taking some laps around your workout space, maybe circling the arms forward and back, crossing the chest and then expanding. You might get some hip circles here, nice and wide, nice and big. And then a few deep squats, whether you're finishing out or maybe you're with me getting ready for your cool down. We've got about 20 more seconds left. Just breathe in and out. Slow that breath rate down. Shouldn't be too high, so it may not take that long to get your heart rate back down to the baseline. But we want to kind of feel that whole body sigh before we move into our cooling mode. Let's take one more big breath together or finishing out wherever you are. And exhale. Shake it out. That is your 20-minute total body strength session for your luteal phase. I hope it felt like just enough of a challenge without kind of crossing that threshold into high intensity so that you can keep your inner stress to a minimum. You can help resolve that stress signal through your cool down with ease, and that you leave your workout feeling more energized, less stressed, and more joyful than when you arrived. So from here, let's get into our cool down. You have just completed your total body strength work, and now it is time to cool down. Hopefully your heart rate has come down quite a bit. You're kind of in that baseline, but still slightly elevated place. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up. And then as you exhale, clasp either opposite elbows or interlace the fingers. Feel that deep chest stretch. I want you to draw the pubic bone toward the navel, so really knit the low ribs in. And then we'll fold over the legs. Keep your heart and head in the same elevation. So without letting the head dip too far below, you can release the hands here if you wish. Just kind of sway the hips side to side so you feel that inner thigh stretch. Release any tension in the low back. Lengthen the crown of the head away. And then we're going to turn over that right knee. Let your left knee come down. Bring your right hand to your right thigh, press it down and forward to twist open. Then you have the option of coming down to that left forearm. So I really want you to feel the stretch in the hips, the spacious quality in the shoulders here. You can even come on to the knife edge of that right foot if you wish to get a little more space in the hips. We'll be here for a few more seconds. And then turn to the long edge of your mat. Here we're coming into a side lunge with a twist. So I want you to take the opposite hand to opposite knee and let your other arm open nice and wide. Using your breath here, finding those exhales. Again, just feeling that rotation in the upper back and that quality of the stretch across the bowl of the pelvis. Last one here. Now you'll turn over that left knee, let your right knee come down, left hand to the top of the right thigh, press down and forward. Option to bring the forearm all the way down. You can roll onto the knife edge of that left foot as long as you're pressing down, so we're not putting too much strain in the knee. We have that muscle activation to support the stretch. We'll be here for about 30 seconds in each stretch. And from here, you can come into your tabletop, let the forearms come down to the ground, press the palms into each other, root down through the pinky side of the hands, and then slide heart, belly, chest toward the thighs. So it's puppy pose, but with dolphin arms here. Great stretch for the shoulders and the spine. I really want you to shine your sitting bones up and back so you feel length in both sides of the waist. Breathing all the while. And then slowly come up. Let's zigzag the feet. So coming kind of into this figure 4 with your front knee. And then a modified pigeon. So I just want you to fold over that front leg and kind of shimmy and shake until you feel the stretch where you need it most. If you want to come into full pigeon, you can. And know that it's a pretty intense stretch. So we use this modified version when we're kind of just working through a quick cool down and we haven't necessarily prepped the body for full pigeon yet. Slowly walk the hands up here. Take your whatever knee is forward. You're going to take that hand back. Reach the opposite arm behind. I want you to sort of circle away from your back hip flexor. You can bring your top hand to your head. So we're really looking for as much space as we can in the front line of the body. You can even inflate the lungs a bit, stretch away from your inner back knee there. Let me slowly come up through center, windshield wiper the legs to the other side for modified pigeon, now on side 2. So again, folding over, kind of adjusting the position of your back leg, that back knee, maybe bringing it closer or further away to find that stretch where it feels best in that other hip. So flexing the foot here, maybe softening heart, belly, chest toward the floor. And we'll slowly walk it up, once again taking that same side hand behind and then arcing the opposite arm up and back away from your inner back knee. You can take your top hand to the back of the head. You might even bring the forearm down. You should really feel this opening, that hip flexor complex, the psoas, in a way that doesn't require full flexion of the knee. So this is kind of my favorite way to stretch the hip flexors for all populations. And then slowly come up. Come into an upward table next. So feet are parallel. I want you to take your fingers, face them out, hug the heels of the hands in behind you so you feel that chest stretch. And then simply press through the heels of the hands, lift the hips. You might even take the head back and get that full stretch here. Keep knitting the hip points toward the low ribs so you're not puffing the belly up and out, but just really getting that stretch. Press through the heels of the hands to stretch the chest, and then slowly lower the hips to the earth. You can, in your own way, start to transition now into your ball pose. Get a little bit of a shimmy and shake there, and then slowly roll up. Nice and easy. Up to standing. We'll enjoy a huge breath in together. Inhale. Exhale, let it out. That completes your total body cool down for today. I want to take this moment to celebrate you, to thank you for showing up, for sweating with me, and for letting your body be moved.